6, 1930, a news story titled The Village of the Dead was published on the front page of the Canadian newspaper, the Merritt and Daily Journal. The news spread fear throughout Canada as in northern Canada, an entire village disappeared overnight without any trace. In a remote area of northern Canada lies Anjikuni Lake, on the shores of which lived a tribe called the Eskimo. The village was home to about 100 to 150 people who lived up fishing in the lake. This is a region of northern Canada where only a few thousands people live in an area of millions of square miles. The harsh and cool climate is the reason for this. In addition to fish, other animals were also hunted in the vicinity of Anjikuni Lake. This is why many hunters came to this area. It was a chilly day in November 1930. A hunter named Joe Lobel had come to this area for hunting. He got so busy in hunting that he did not realize when it had gotten dark. He had the idea that he would spend the night as he had before in the Eskimo tribe on the shore of Anjikuni Lake. The people of this tribe were known for their warm hospitality to visitors. So Joe Lobel packed up his belongings and started walking towards the Eskimo tribe. It was a moonlit night, but there was complete silence all around. He could neither see anyone nor hear any sound. He could only hear the sound of his own footsteps. Joe had been to this village before, but today something felt different. He usually heard dogs barking as he approached the village, but today it was completely quiet. The villagers kept dogs, so their absence was strange. As Joe got closer, he noticed that the village was completely deserted. There was no sign of life, not even any animal. Feeling uneasy, Joe quickened his pace. He wondered that the villagers were all asleep or if they had been evacuated. From a distance, Joe could see the tents of the village. Smoke was rising from them, indicating that someone was still inside. But as he got closer, he still could not hear any sound. Finally, when Joe entered the village, he was shocked to see that it was completely empty. There were no people or animal in sight, but what was even stranger was that smoke was still rising from the roofs of some of the houses. It was as if someone was still living there. And there were footprints too. It looked like the villagers had left abruptly, but where did they go? Joe Lobel started searching the whole village. He noticed that the dogs kept by the tribe had ropes tied around their necks, but the dogs were already dead. However, there was food in front of the dogs, but there was no one to feed them. In one spot, he saw a freshly dug grave. Looking at the grave, it seemed that it hadn't been dug long ago. Seeing all this, Joe Lobel's anxiety and fear had heightened considerably. He was terrified to see this entire scene alone at night. The people here always take their dogs with them wherever they go. But seeing all this, it appeared that something strange had happened here. Some calamity had occurred that had compelled the people to evacuate abruptly. So much so that they even abandoned their dogs. They could not even feed the dogs or extinguish the fire. Unable to bear it any longer, Joe Lobel left for the nearest telegraph office as soon as possible. From there, he contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police camps and he told them the whole incident. When the police reached the village, everything that Joe Lobel had told was proven true. The police suspected that perhaps someone had attacked here and had killed all the people of the settlement. But if that had happened, there would have been blood marks on the settlement. But there was not even a single blood mark nor any sign of attack. The police started a search operation to find the villagers. In this search operation, they saw something very strange that Joe might not have even noticed. The whole settlement was covered in snow, but there were no footprints of anyone on the snow. There were only footprints of one person. They were Joe Lobel's. So if no one came to this settlement except Joe, and if the settlers did not leave, where did they go? The lake was also frozen over, and the villagers' boats were pulled ashore. Since fish are not caught in this season, the boats are pulled ashore and parked. If the villagers had swum across the lake or someone had killed them and thrown them into the lake, the layer of ice on the lake would have surely broken or melted somewhere. During the investigation, the police found that these people disappeared 8 days before Joe arrived. because the dog's death does not occur within a day or two, and the smoke that comes out of the houses is a sign that these people have not been here for a long time, because this is the smoke that keeps coming out for a long time due to burning of wood. The police had a lot of questions in front of them, but there was no answer. After months of search operation, this case was finally closed as unsolved, and the people forgot about it forever. 50 years after this incident, in 1984, writers named Roger Bohr and Nigel Blundell wrote an article and tried to link this whole mystery to aliens. They said in their article that when they went to explore this area near Enjikuni Lake, they found a hunter and his two sons there. They said they often saw objects of different shapes flying over the lake, and they were flying towards the settlement where the Eskimo tribe lived. Based on this story, it was said that perhaps that night the aliens took all the people present in the settlement with them. These two writers had no concrete evidence of the presence of aliens in their attack. Therefore, most people did not believe it and rejected the theory. After that, many people started making different stories about the disappearance of the Eskimo tribe. But the fact is that it has been 100 years since this incident happened. But till today, no one has the answer of the question where the people of the Eskimo tribe went without a trace. The disappearance of the Eskimo tribe remains a mystery to this day.